I fear there will be a lot of sports tonight. Apologize to anyone who's not a huge sports fan, but we got 16 seconds of sports tonight. The Tush Push, and I'll be talking about one of sports' greatest villains just for a little bit. But this is the Blathering Live with me, Ken Napsok. A return. We were off Monday. We had a quick show Saturday. We'll have another quick show this Saturday. But I was traveling and having fun hanging out with all of you here tonight. It is slightly hotter tonight. So I've got this little $2 fan, the O2 Cool Deluxe Misting fan that occasionally... oh, that's good mist. Oh, yeah. I might just spray myself down tonight because the studio is hot, hot, hot. Buster Poindexter, David Johansen. All right. The friends are here. Sean's here. Brennan's here. Cameron Stewart. Michael McCarcel. You know what? Ironically, Michael McCarcel's such a sport because he says, I'm not familiar with sports. So I'll just go ahead and guess your team is having a bad time. My team's not having a bad time. The Miami Dolphins are going to win Super Bowls here. Mark it down. Producer Steve will be joining shortly. Paul, on the show tonight, Paul. Could you believe such a thing, Paul? Would you like to buy a monkey? We've got a little Game of Thrones talk, but we don't, I haven't even told Jared yet this. We'll be live Friday afternoon in the best time zone, the Pacific time zone, 2 p.m. with Casterly Talk. We're going to do an hour live and pull some questions and then break those off. So, Jared's been keeping Casterly Talk alive here on the show tonight, on Thursdays, I should say. And now it's alive. What I'm saying is, Jared, we don't need you. No, we need you tonight. 60 Seconds of Science with Addie, Dr. Addie, our professor, resident professor of smart things. As always, I don't even know what we got going on. Even if I did, I wouldn't understand it. She'll explain it. She'll take us through that. Got some calls. A lot of people want to talk about, apparently, the Knicks and Pacers played a big game last night. I was watching part 3 of Turning Point, the war in Vietnam. Sorry, I was in the past. Well, you're all in the present. Top of the hour, 16 seconds of sports. So there you go. And as always, calls. If you want to call into the show, you can become a channel member, and then you get access to links, or you can become a Patreon supporter. Become a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/GodNowSuck. Thanks to JMB already with a nice, generous super chat. We appreciate that. Super chats are not needed to be involved in the show or on the show, but I got to tell you something. I appreciate them. There's other ways to support the show as well. Subscribing to this channel if you're listening to the audio version. You can also scan a QR code or check a link in the description and donate directly to Morning Drive Media to keep the lights on. But you guys have been so generous. I want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. The Blathering continues to roll on. I missed it. I couldn't. Monday, I had to drive up to my hometown. One day trip. I didn't get back till like 10 o'clock at night. I had to go to a credit union. I drove 3 hours for a 12-minute meeting, but I got to see my folks. Had a nice lunch. Walked with the dogs. Took a nap. Oh, it was great. Back here tonight. Couple things in the news. We do sometimes like to get serious. We just do sometimes like to dive into the headlines and talk politics. There's an absolute tragedy that took place in Washington, D.C. today, and I'm not going to wade into it at all. I'm not going to say the words that would get me demonetized on YouTube, because why speak about news plainly on YouTube? They don't want that. But I think it's absolute tragedy. But I'm of the sort that, one act of terror tragedy does not negate a bigger cause, and should not diminish the loss of the lives. So any comments on it here, please be respectful. I am not the type of the person that is taking some sort of victory lap because of Biden's illness. Others are. God bless you. Not my energy, not the energy you want to display in front of me either. I can tell you that at a taco party. Also, regarding the incident yesterday, it's still ongoing, still developing. Let's just wait, but also mourn and let people have their explosions. That's everything. You go any direction with it you want. I just need to tip my cap to it's on my mind. I've thoughts about it, not even complete thoughts, but just have worries about it. And all those kind of things. But we do these shows not in a silo. We do these shows as the world's going on around. So that is on my mind tonight as well. Another thing on my mind I wanted to address a little bit is I watched the Netflix documentary Untold, The Fall of Brett Favre. Now, I guess at this point that I should disclose that over the years I've been blessed and honored to become friends and be a friend of Jen Sturger, featured prominently in the doc because the fall of Brett Favre has a lot to do with what happened to her life and her career. If you're not super familiar with it, check out the doc. Just go into that. Jen is just absolutely the best version of herself right now. She is doing the best comedy of her career. And as I told her privately, and I'll say here publicly, the best part of the doc for me was that she is the happy ending of the story. She is living her life as best she can and taking control, taking her power back from the situation. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to solve or add any more insight or poignancy or purpose to the conversation other than it was a telling doc in a lot of ways, but the two things that jump out to me. The lionization of sports heroes or heroes of any kind is understandable. I do it too. I have people in my life that I absolutely look up to and love and follow along and have a little bit of good old-fashioned fan worship. It happens. It's just the way it is. I don't fault anyone for that. I don't think that's going to change. I just want to get to a point when someone does show us and those around them who they are, no matter what they do, we can't see it for what it is. This is very prevalent in the sports world, very prevalent in the music world. These are people that do things or create things. They get into our hearts, they get into our souls, and they mean something. Sports means something to me. It always will mean something to me. And I hope it means something to you out there. And sports heroes and icons and moments, they mean something to me. And I hope they continue to mean something to you. But it is absolutely frightening to watch as this monster of a man not just destroys the lives and careers of some women. We know about Jen and her story. There are many others, especially in the early days of Green Bay, that we don't know of. Then he goes on to absolutely ruin more lives with the welfare scandal. As of right now, there's no consequences. Even this doc will not change minds. Even this doc will not stop people from worshiping Brett Favre. And that's one of the things that drives me crazy. The other thing is the story unfolds in 2008, 10, 9, and 10. We're in 2025 with this doc, 15 years, and we still are dealing with the stuff we dealt then, which we were still dealing with the stuff that had been before, of the simple concept of not believing women, not understanding the situation, or writing it off so easily. Oh, she was asking for it. See the way she dressed on those sidelines? Oh, like she didn't give him his number. Oh, like she didn't hook up with other players. Ah, we saw it then. We're seeing it now. Jen's still dealing with it. That's why she continues to be someone I'm so proud of and look up to. She continues to put herself out there as a comic, on stage alone, throwing a name out there that is synonymous with this scandal that was absolutely tossed aside in 2010 when it came out against her will as well, as the doc goes into and the story goes. And there's more to it. We're still dealing with that. We're still dealing the simple idea that these women are just asking for it. That these women aren't coming out and telling the stories when it happens. Why is that? And we're still going along with the assumption that they somehow getting something out of this. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. And it's going to continue to go until we find ways to unplug young minds from that sort of thought matrix. I don't know how to do it other than to be me. Other than to push back on the borders of the patriarchy and misogyny and sexism. Other than to look back at some of the things I thought back in the day. Some of the things you're just taught growing up. Some of the things you're taught about gender dynamics or gender roles that are completely a construct. They often lead to the situations that we're in. Check out Untold. Fall of Brett Favre on Netflix. Highly recommended. It's about an hour of your time. And it's heart-wrenching. It's infuriating. But like I said, my pal Jen Sturger is the happy ending of that story. She only not only is going on, she's going on in the best version of herself that I've seen in the time I've known her, about 10 years. Proud of her. Proud of all those who would come forward with these kind of stories. Anyone affected in these kind of ways. I'm talking about women specifically. That, of course, victims can go well beyond that. So check it out. Serious stuff, but absolutely on my mind as we move forward this week. All right. With that aside, I think it's time to get into some silly stuff. I'm going to bring producer Steve on, but I don't want him to have to just jump right in right after that. So I'll open up tonight's beverage, which is a tall boy of White Claw. I don't even know the flavor. I got to be honest, I didn't buy this White Claw for myself. I bought it for someone else about 2-3 weeks ago, and it got left in my fridge. So Steve, take a sip in your Blathering glove. Have you ever had a black cherry White Claw?
I've actually never had a White Claw, Ken.
Holy fuck. What?
Yeah. I've never had a White Claw.
On purpose or just by accident?
I mean, this is the first time I've ever thought about that. It's like how that's actually a pretty good never have I ever pull.
Let's do it.
But
first of all, I love laser bolts somewhere on a campsite going, oh, I love the click, the sound of that can opening up.
No, I don't like. I'm not a liquor guy, huge liquor guy, as you can see a stormtrooper thing full of whiskey behind me. But that's
okay.
Like whiskey and tequila are the only kind of liquors I drink. So me and vodka don't get along, and White Claw is in that alcohol and sugar are not good for me. Let me just put it that way.
Do you not drink a lot?
Oh, I drink plenty, but beer to me is just not super sugar. It's like I said, it's like rum and beer. Vodka and stuff that you mix a lot of. Like if you put vodka with a lot of shit with it or whatever, right? That's what gives me a tummy ache.
I don't do the vodka, but I mean, White Claw's just water with a little kick to the private, Steve.
Okay. Like I said, I wouldn't know. Haven't had one. I just assumed it was some kind of Now there's a liquor and seltzer water. I don't know. I'm also not a huge seltzer guy, but whatever. Now you're making me sound picky.
Yeah. You're picky. You're picky, Steve. This is so. Let me. So it's beer. Is it beer o'clock for you all the time until it's time to bring out heavy guns at a party? What do you do? When you walk into a party, where do you go? What do you go for?
Tequila. That's my go-to. Tequila. That's just all day, every day. Well, not all day. That's bad. But if I'm going liquor, if I'm doing shots, if I'm having
slightly problematic there. Hold on. Okay, that's I just asked you, Steve.
Yeah.
What weapon do you bring to a street fight? And you're like, a bazooka.
Yes. I want to win, Ken.
All right, look, I'm not here to judge, but I'm judging. No, look, I will say this. I did not. Tully asked about Zimas. I've never had a Zima.
Me either.
Mike's Hard Lemonade I did have until I passed out, not from alcohol, but the sugar coma. So I'm with you on this. I'm not mocking you completely here, Steve. This was a pandemic thing. This was I went to a party and someone handed me one before the pandemic, and I was like, that's pretty good. And the pandemic was like, what if we got 24 of those tonight?
My pandemic drink was wine. I tried to really like wine and everything, but wine's way too expensive to do that. So that ended very quickly.
Yes. We were fortunate. We did a lot of wine in the house over the last 8 years. We found out Chihuahuas like wine. But here's the thing, and I'm not accusing you of pretentiousness, but an $8.99 bottle of wine at some kind of gas station does the trick.
Hell yeah, it does. I mean, I get all my wine at the grocery store. It's $11. Yeah. It's not that much better.
Yeah. Grocery outlet bargain market, they go on sale, $5.99 for a Pinois or some kind of Sauvignon Blanc, and it does the job.
It's all. See, for me, it started with when me and my wife would sit down to watch Game of Thrones on Sunday nights. I felt like, if Cersei's going to sit here and just pound 8 glasses of wine for the next hour, we should too, right? So we just wanted to feel sophisticated, and we would just pour a really comically large glass, not the wine necessarily, but just the big glasses, and we would just sit there and watch Game of Thrones with our wine glasses and feel fancy.
I'm a late bloomer when it comes to drinking, right? Didn't have my first sip of alcohol until I was 26. Didn't start really understanding alcohol till my 30s. And in my late 30s, single man at this point in my life, I got a bottle of wine, and I thought, you know what I hate about wine? I hate that the pores are so tiny, and then you finish it and you have to go up and pour another one. So I poured half a bottle into a pint glass, Steve, on a Friday night alone in my apartment. My roommate was out of town, and I thought, this is genius. Just like that pint glass you got there, a pint of wine. And
like Kool-Aid.
I was so sick. Sick. I almost didn't make it to morning.
Yeah, no, you got to pace yourself. That's the thing. I don't know. Something about pacing and air and oxygen. I don't know. Wine's like a science experiment. That's why I just went back to beer. So.
Okay. Chihuahuas do like wine, Michael, at least the ones in my life. Ratsy, rest in peace, Ratsy. We lost Ratsy back in 2020. And she would, we'd pull the bottle out and she'd start freaking out while the bottle was in her hands. And then you pour it into a wine glass and she'd try to lick through the glass to get to it. And then you just do it. You do a little bit. You don't want to, it's a 4-pound Chihuahua. You didn't, but then her eyes, you'd see her eyes do the and she'd walk around like Lisa Simpson at Krusty Land, which is a reference to an episode of The Simpsons now maybe over 30 years old.
Yeah, probably. There's a lot of Simpsons out there. No, that's good. Well, I was gonna say it doesn't take much for a 4-pound Chihuahua. You gotta be careful there. Poor Ratsy, but I'm sure she had a good time.
She enjoyed it. She enjoyed it. She went off over the Rainbow Bridge with memories of wine dancing in her head. Steve, we got 60 seconds of sports, 60 seconds of science. We got some calls, but I'm going to kick you for a second, and we're going to do some Jared the TIE Pilot here. We're going to talk some Game of Thrones. All right? It's all right.
Let's do it. Let's have some Game of Thrones time.
All right. Jared the TIE Pilot is here. We're talking Game of Thrones. We are talking season 5. I haven't watched this one in a while. Jared, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Ken. How you holding in there?
I'm doing good. Big update. There was more important things to discuss at the top of the show, but I purchased a water dish for my squirrels, and I've trained the squirrels to drink from the water dish.
Good man. You're becoming more of a high-level druid every day.
Lightning bolt. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, as Jared likes to do, we call him some Game of Thrones. We're slowly working our way through season 5. Jared, we got a big episode today, The Gift.
Oh, we do. Yep, episode 7 of season 5. We got D&D back writing. Miguel Sapochnik. You know how
Miguel
to say
Sapochnik.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And the director. And this is, as you just said, it's a packed episode. We're getting ready for the big episodes 8 and 9 here. A lot of stuff developing from all the way from the Wall, Marine, King's Landing, Dorne. But the two main things I wanted to get to tonight were, because everything was such a short segmented, was the passing of Maester Aemon.
Yeah.
And the Stannis discussion about what to do with Shireen. You know, winter's coming and things aren't looking good. But I figured we'll start with good old Maester Aemon, and I think it was a beautiful goodbye for him, and Sam's delicious eulogy. And I've always had the question in that scene though, and it always comes up with Sir Alistair. How much respect do you think he put on Maester Aemon's name?
Sir Alistair Thorne?
Yeah.
I think a lot. Whether or not we completely saw it in the show, I think there was a bit of a feeling that Maester Aemon's word, if not the final word, was perhaps one of the most important words. I think that played out. There's also some headcanon maybe that I have of the respect it extend, even if it was at times begrudging. I think he was such a good standing member of the Night's Watch and all the history and all of his legacy that I choose to believe that there was a friendship between all of the leaders and him, other than maybe Janos Slynt when he was there. But yeah, and I agree with you too. It's a beautiful send off. Peter Vaughn, no longer with us as well, is so wonderful as Maester Aemon. And for me, who at the time in season 1 wasn't a book reader, the reveal of who he was breathtaking to me, quite frankly. it was it might have been obvious maybe to others, but it wasn't to me. And so the reveal, I felt the full effect of that reveal to Jon Snow. So I've always loved Maester Aemon, and just knowing that he was going, knowing that the performer was approaching the end of his life on our earth as well. It's one of my favorite moments in the show.
It really is. It's just, as far as like nice, not necessarily happy, but like good, clean deaths, nice, long-lived life, respected at the end. Like we don't get a lot of those in Ice and Fire.
I actually am glad you brought that up because that's very true. That's very true. Like I'm trying to run through the list of like it honestly might be him and Melisandre, like who get to call their own shots, like who get to go out, and she didn't have the greatest of lives when you take into account all 400 years of her existence or whatever it was. But yeah, maybe that's the other beauty of it too. This is someone who got to complete the journey to the full extent of their soul.
Yep. And speaking of Melisandre, that witchy bitch coming in with just ultimate gaslighting. Have I not shown you everything? How do you not believe me yet? You've seen the power of King's blood. Burn your daughter. Come on, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, we've talked a lot about Stannis on this channel, and we'll continue to talk about Stannis. He's one of my favorite players. He is a player. He's a player in the Game of Thrones. But I love Melisandre. I love Carice Van Houten. Love also what she says and stands up for out there in the real world as well. On Instagram, if you follow her, But as a performer, yeah, Melisandre shows up. Yeah, she's a sexy redhead witch. I got it. I watched it in 2012 going, okay, sign me up for that. But the character was so much more, and I think had such a valued place in the story, including, what I love about this is now with hindsight is how much, and I kick that question back to you, Jared, how much did she believe? How much was her on autopilot? How much was her going, I don't know, this seems like the best hunch at the time, and maybe I can put my throw my lot in behind Stannis and maybe save myself in this world. Sometimes I wonder, looking back.
I mean, I honestly believe her at the end when I believe it's Davos she's going back and forth with first you thought it was Stannis and you thought this, that. It's like, I was wrong. Like, yeah, she did believe it, and she was just wrong, and she went full bar into it. And it's the interesting aspect of the Red Priestess in general, just even the ones that Dany deals with in the streets, just gaslighting seems to be a theme for that particular religion.
It does. But I've had to. And on Casterly Talk, we had conversations about this. Remember, our buddy Lon Harris, who is the reason we have the name Casterly Talk. Always shout out Lon for that. Just the idea that of all the religions going on in the Seven Kingdoms, the old gods and the new, for the most part, the Red God, the good old Red God, seems to be the one that actually gets things right. Not saying that they're right or they're right about their beliefs, but seems like the most real. The seven-pointed star, all that stuff down in King's Landing. Oh, that seems constructed. That seems that someone went into the hills and said, I found some tablets, believe me. Whereas the worship of the Red God seems to net some kind of results. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Have you ever got that feeling, especially watching her? Because she has that bathtub scene. It's all, sometimes it's fake, but sometimes it's real. But I'm with you. Deep down, she believes and maybe wants to believe. And it's Thoros and Mir goes through that as well. There's with him being able to bring back people from the dead, it's because he, found his belief again. So, I don't know. Have you ever had how many hours have you stayed awake, Jared, thinking, dear God, the Red God might be right?
It's one of those where I have the same feeling that I think Alden brought up on the live once, where it was just all the religions except the 7-point star show in some way during the show actual power. Something happens with these religions, whether it's the masking with the faceless men, the old gods with the visions, the warging, the red-headed priests with resurrection and stuff. Everybody but that completely made up 7-pointed star.
Yeah, and no, it's good to point out the other ones. Like I said, the old gods. There's a lot of other things going on that I want to give. Dare I say, give them credit? But yeah, not the 7-pointed star down there in Westeros.
the one religion where I'm hoping in the books becomes a bigger deal too, because it's just fun to me. Because my favorite house for some reason is the Greyjoys, and that's the Drow God. We need something ridiculous to happen with the Drow God, because we're wait. Go ahead.
No, Drown God is an interesting case because I'd like to know the track record of that god too. I don't know. There seems to be, they get a lot of victories out of sheer will. They're strong people, because I have an affinity for the Greyjoys too, in a way. I do like the character of Theon. I do like the character of Yara on the show, Asha in the books. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. You just drowned a potential king. Is that a god or you? Did you just drown him?
Hey man, he coughs it up. You know, the sea. It's like Rings of Power. The sea made the choice.
Sea made the choice. Jared, I love this stuff. We're going to look towards a big episode on the next conversation, which we could do next week here. I don't want to scare you, too. Castle Talk being back up on its own doesn't mean we're going away here. But this was Miguel Sapochnik's first directorial assignment in Game of Thrones, and his second episode is a doozy. One of my all-time favorites, Hard Home. Sapochnik, who, of course, goes to co-showrun season 1 of House of Dragon. It's interesting. This is just it's just a little debut. He gets a little double. He hits a double. It's a great episode. But we had no idea that this man who would help shape the last 4 seasons of the show had just joined the roster in a big way.
He really did. Though I do love a comment you once made about him. He's like, I don't think he's ever smiled a day in his life.
Even the picture, I'm looking on Wikipedia, the picture of him is him frowning at me right now. There's an interview after season 8, and he, of course, did The Long Night, among other episodes in that final season. And as you all know, love that final season. But there was an interview, and it's fascinating to get the insight of the director. It was so intense. I'm like, did he enjoy this? Does he enjoy this? And I think he took that intensity into House of the Dragon.
Oh, he definitely did that. That first season it needed humor, and second season definitely brought it.
It did. All right.
As you said, we got Hard Home next week. I look forward to the live tomorrow. Tell you what, I'll even pitch you this way you can have the night to think about it. My little question for you and Alden: is Dawn the sword? Is that Lightbringer?
Okay.
Could that have been Lightbringer?
Okay. We'll ponder it. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it. We'll be live tomorrow on Castle Talk 2 p.m. Pacific to answer that question and more. And we'll be talking about a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and perhaps are we worried about it because it's delayed? Jared, appreciate you. We're only live tomorrow because you started asking questions here.
Hey, as you said, bullying works. Everybody stay safe. Let's have a fun episode. We got science and sports. Stay tuned, folks.
Stay tuned. Look at that, Steve. We've trained him so well. He's pitching it to sports and weather.
Everyone's learning how to do transitions and segues, and we've got people like calling in with hang up and listen and everything. It's like I don't have to do anything anymore.
I don't know what's going on over on Blathering backstage. I saw the runtime of last episode, and I said, I'm there, but for the grace of God, go I. You guys, what do you guys do? You doing promo classes over there?
Yeah, it's think of it like producer Steve masterclass for how to do radio and all this jazz, right? We've just been having fun. It's been a big tent. We've had people come on, and we've had fun with the wheel and different topics and stuff, and we're using it as like you said, our laboratory. So. It is a
laboratory, and we'll start pulling some stuff over there. It's like that. What's that? What's the is it winter ball or fall league? The independent or whatever Major League Baseball's like. Could we just maybe we put a trap door at second base? Put it in that league. Let's figure it out.
Right. Yeah. We're the NBA summer league, something like that. Yeah. No, that's such a great idea. Just let's put we'll be the league where you can test out. Okay, what if we put a ball pit in the outfield, or if we put like a moat in the warning track instead of a sand or whatever. You know what I mean? Something that kind of fun.
Yeah. Jared's suggesting banana ball, which I have fallen out of love with banana ball. So we'll have that debate during sports. All right. Got calls lined up too. We'll do some of those. We got Aiden, we got Brady lined up. We're going to do to that AAA podcasting. Michael Garza says maybe one day I'll be good at calls. Michael, you're good at calls. Everyone here's good at calls. I'll just pull back the curtain. I don't love podcasts. Okay? I don't listen to podcasts. They take too goddamn long. And they're too casual. And I do love a good shoot the shit hangout kind of vibe, but that's a lie. Even your favorite shoot the shit kind of vibe shows are usually done with highly trained professional entertainers of some sorts. So my goal here, this is a radio show. So that's why if you call in, it's not a hangout. It's not a, hey, what you doing? Hey, Ken, good to hear you. I want to talk about crayons. I used to eat them as a kid. You? Like, that's all. Boom. And then I'm off, and you're off, and you just got to get on the train with me. Or in producer Steve here. That's what we're going for, and that's what will make us stand out against a lot of the other bullshit that's out there. But that doesn't mean we don't have some fun. Doesn't mean I don't field questions about why Jared loves Boston, why Michelle Boyd loves Boston. I crashed her stream yesterday to yell about Jar Jar and Boston. I'm going to try to get her here so she can defend Boston with Jared. I love silly stuff, Steve. That's all.
No, we love the silly, and that's why we like the backstage, because it is. I'm certainly not a professional, and we are just hanging out for the most part. So, and we're going to structure those a little bit more too, and have some more fun, like kind of doing stuff there, whether it's games or watch lawn, something like that. We're going to have fun doing stuff there.
Doing stuff. But it's a good clubhouse. Stuff. And
we're going to make
Addie,
it a clubhouse of stuff.
Addie brings up a fair point. She's going to pop in here for science here in a second. Says the man who makes 2-hour podcasts. I don't listen to him. That's the problem. People are like, who are your favorite comics? I don't watch comedy. Who are your favorite podcast? I don't listen to podcasts. I don't give two shits about podcasts. And that's why they're too long. They're too long. I don't got time. And when we have found on Force Center, when we dip and go a little shorter, we always get comments of, oh, what happened? I wish it was longer. I don't know, Steve.
People don't want to have to hit this, like the skip button or the next button on the thing. I don't know. I don't know, Ken. People, I think we've noticed too. I mean, even on the marathon streams we've done on Backstage, that it was more of a. It's not like I'm going so long because we have to or I want to. It's more of a, we were having a good time. I didn't want to shut the lights out on a party that people were having fun.
Yeah.
At, you know what I mean?
So, I think that's great. No, you guys go as long as you want. I worry about your health, Steve.
Oh, I worry about my health too. No, but I'm kind of with you. Whereas because I'm again a radio guy as well, right? So I want to keep things moving. That's kind of why, like, you hear me blabber, like, talk like really quickly because I keep talking because again, Ken, I'm still worried that an alarm is going to go off behind me if we let dead air happen for like 4.5 or 5 seconds or whatever it is.
Same.
So we got to keep it moving, man. We got to keep it moving.
It's the key to broadcasting is momentum. It's not necessarily just simply speed, but it's momentum. And I don't worry about dead time or dead air, but it's the boom, boom, and I do that well. I'm okay on this show. I do it better when I'm a guest on other shows. I've saved so many other goddamn shows I'm on. I'll just say this is Blathering. I'm trying to turn a new leaf. I'm just trying to be honest with things. When you have me on your podcast, I usually save them. Like, I usually take over hosting from the hosts on podcasts, and it shouldn't be that way. People, come on, momentum. All right,
you're the bar rescue guy for podcasts. That's great.
Yeah, but then that guy, he posted some bullshit today. Anyways, that's
we can't separate the art from the artist and the bar rescue guy. Ken, nothing.
I
not
can't.
Even for a joke.
No, I can't. No,
no, we don't have to actually do it, but just for the sake of the joke. No, damn it.
No.
All right, I tried.
Yeah, no.
I tried, folks.
All right, not all heroes work. Thank you, Jared. I am a goddamn hero for exposing the truth of Boston. It's for a tiny little historic town. Here's the other thing, Steve, I don't like about Boston. For a tiny historic town, it's not even a city, it's a town. It's got enough freeways to think it's a city. It's so spread out. I don't know about that. I don't trust that. About that.
You don't have to convince me twice about Boston. I'm an Eagles fan. I have sports teams from a few different places because I've lived everywhere, and none of my sports allegiances lead anywhere near or all hate Boston. So we're all good there. Shit on Boston all you want.
That's fair. All right. You ready for some science, Steve?
Let's do science.
Let's do some science. Some science. Sounds so good at science. I can't even say it. Dr. Addie is here. The return of 60 Seconds of Science. Addie, welcome back. First of all, how are you?
I'm depressed, Ken. How are you?
Okay, I was depressed. I was a little stir crazy today, but then I watched a squirrel drink directly from the bowl of water I put down for it, and my heart was filled. But why are you depressed?
It's been a rough week in research, and Disney Plus took away the streaming channel that was playing Star Wars in chronological order 24/7, and it's 47 degrees here in New England. And then I came home and read about what's happening to the NSF and science in the U.S., and now Republicans are defending it. And so I either need good news or a stiff drink.
Well, time for a stiff drink because that's all we got left. That's all that we have available to us here. Try a White Claw.
I don't like seltzer. I also really don't like drinking, quite frankly.
Okay, that's first of all, that's fair and valid for yourself. I am curious when someone says that as to why, with no judgment, only curiosity. Why don't you like drinking?
I don't. I don't like having my inhibitions lowered.
I knew it was that. I knew it was that because you're a professor. Steve, she's a professor. I knew Addie was one of those folks. It's like, I might start having fun. I might rob a bus. I might take a bus hostage and go rob a bank for fun. Steve, I knew that.
She's one of the last respectable ones we have here in the Blathering community, Ken. So we got to keep. She's the smart one. She's the scientist. If it all goes to shit and we're the only ones left, Addie is the one. You know what I mean? Like, there's a segment. We'll come up with the apocalypse scenario where this community is the only survivors. Addie's going to be the scientist and the one that figures out how to, power and get us running water. So
we needed the professor at Gilligan's Island. We need the professor here. This is not a wrong answer, Addie. By the way, this is not a wrong answer. I had a hunch that was going to be it. What? Okay. Was there, without any detail? You don't need to share any details. You're a professor at a highly respected institution. But was there like a specific moment where you're like, can't do that again?
No, I've only ever actually been what I would qualify as drunk twice in my life, and I don't like it.
And to quote Carrie Fisher, that you know of. I
was not drunk enough. I remember both of them vividly. Like,
I'll say this: I've never been so drunk that I don't remember. The highest I think I've lost like 20% of memory of an incident. Like little things of like, whoa, when did that fourth drink show up? But so I'm not a blackout drunk. You got a problem. That might be a concern. Like Steve in his junior year of college. I'm sure there were some nights.
Damn it, Ken. I was going to say,
the between 4 and 17 beers he had on backstage a couple nights ago.
Yeah, but that's beer.
Ken, the community thinks I'm a raging alcoholic, and it's not.
Possibly 15, but it's beer. I've seen Mark Ellis down like a 24 pack and play an 18-hole golf course. But I've gone down with 2 rums.
To be fair, he's joked about drinking like Coors Light and stuff, and that kind of beer, light beer, that is basically water. So I don't, and I'm not a craft beer guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a snooty beer guy.
Well, I wouldn't be working with a pretentious person like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
All right, Addie, I'm not here to attack Addie. I'm not here to attack. We need you. The world is ending. I'm just kidding. When someone says, I don't really like drinking, I want to know, because sometimes I'm allergic to alcohol. But I'm always assuming that maybe one time the answer is Cancun, 2009, and can't do that again. And I like those kind of stories.
I wish I had led that exciting of a life, Ken. I'm a very boring person in real life.
Okay. Let's see, for me, I'm a pretty boring person, but some of my most drunk moments have been captured on the internet forever, so I can't deny them. All right. From there, from the science of drinking, we go to 60 Seconds of Science with Dr. Hattie. Professor, I don't know what's coming. Take us away.
All right, Ken. The Mauna Loa Observatory may observe a record average 430 parts per million of carbon dioxide for the month of May. Just 3 years ago, we recorded an average of 420 parts per million for the first time, and it was 2013 when it passed 400 for the first time, suggesting a more exponential growth is occurring. The first mRNA bird flu vaccine for cattle has been developed and shows promise in early trials. A viable vaccine for livestock would lower the risk for an outbreak in humans. A study published in Nature has found the strongest evidence yet that material is leaking out of the Earth's core. Aaron Eckhart and Stanley Tucci are standing by.
Ooh.
A large clinical trial shows promising results for helping the 60 to 80 million Americans who suffer from sleep apnea. The trial uses a combination of 2 medications to help keep airways open instead of patients having to wear a sleep apnea mask. Dying coral reefs may actually help slow climate change by boosting the ocean's ability to soak up carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, according to a team of French and Swiss scientists. However, marine biologists at the Scripps Institute of Oceanography have developed a new nanoparticle gel that may help save the degraded coral. And finally, in an update from a previous edition of 60 Seconds of Science, we may be alone in the universe after all. The signs of life on a planet 120 light years away are being disputed, with one study finding that other gases with no connection to biology can mimic the purported signal, and a second paper arguing that the original signal isn't strong enough to make any claim at all. And that is 60-ish Seconds of Science. Ken, where would you like to go?
I'd like to go straight into Jerry the Cannon Junkie's DMs to once again say, see, we are alone. But that is a different conversation, Eddie. That is a different conversation for a different show. There's a lot to that. As Jared says, I fucking love the Core movie. I've never seen the Core movie, but I am aware of it. The Earth is leaking? Huh?
Yeah, I knew this was the one. I knew this one's one, and I should have looked closer into it.
Well, because it's such a headline. The Earth is leaking. The Earth is goddamn leaking.
So they've been studying rocks in Hawaii, and looking at different isotopic signatures that suggest that the material in the rocks came from the Earth's core, or at least the mantle near the core. And then have made their way to the surface through different volcanic hotspots. They fail to say why this could be a problem, or if it's a problem. What they do say is that it might cause us to rethink the structure of the mantle and the core, since no one's ever been down there. We don't really know a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they don't. There's no indication in anything that says this is problematic.
So it's just a tasty headline, as David McKay says in chat. It's about the planet core. But how? Okay, how did they? And I know. You said you didn't have as many notes on this one. I understand. Not pressing you for any details you don't have. How did they discover this? Because it's like if you go down 6th Street off of Fairfax, you know right where I'm talking, Addie, right? 6th Street off of Fairfax at
Absolutely.
the La Brea.
The summer I lived in LA, I hung out there all the time.
Right. The La Brea tar pits. There's literally tar, oil, still leaking up through 6th Street. Still, to this day, you drive by, boom, oil right there. Dinosaur tar coming on up. Something like that happened? Is some scientist just walking along and was like, oopsie, Earth sprung a leak. How, are they on watch for this? I'm a dumb man, Addie. I need to know how they find this.
So in Hawaii, they the volcanic islands of Hawaii are constantly being made from lava.
Okay, right.
And
we got
so
volcanoes. Okay.
They are, and lava comes to us from the magma underneath the surface of the Earth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The magma carta. That's why we call it that, right?
Different thing.
Oh, the magna. Oh, okay.
So, volcanic rocks are coming to us from beneath. They're made of materials coming to us from beneath the surface of the Earth. So these volcanic rocks have signatures that suggest they are coming to us from deep beneath the surface of the Earth, closer to the core than otherwise believed.
So what you're saying is I'm right. It's from the planet core.
It's coming from the planet core.
Okay. Magna PI. Okay. Look, I love the thing about science is you got this headline, the Earth is leaking, and you're like, holy crap, the Earth is leaking. And then they're like, yeah, it might not be a bad thing. We'll let you know. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. I no secret here. I love science.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
Just, yeah, it's, yeah, you do. You know, that literally the headline of this article is Earth's core leaking? Volcanic rocks provide strongest evidence yet. And it's like, okay, but then you read the article and it's like, but that's not a problem. Okay. Good to know. Kind of
Good
fun.
to know.
All of
we'll
our geology textbooks probably need to be redrawn. Okay.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's get on that. I'm sure the administration will support that. One question on the sleep apnea pill is someone who probably should wear a Cobra Commander mask or a Vader mask to bed. When can I get these pills?
So it has gone through a very large clinical trial. And like I said, one of the medications in the pill stimulates muscles to keep the airway open, so it so it doesn't disrupt your breathing. One of the medications has already been approved by the FDA for ADHD. So it's already on the market and could potentially be.
So it's a 2-for-1? It's a twofer.
You take two. It's either two medications in one pill or it's two pills. I can't tell.
Okay, but am I hearing you right? That they're like, hey, we got something for you ADHDers.
Oh yeah,
it turns out it also helps snoring.
It's like Ozempic.
Wow. Okay, I gotta get my hands on that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have my Medicare anymore, but we'll Medi-Cal, same thing, Mom, Dad. But if I do, I'm going to try to get those pills. I wish I have signed up for clinical trial stuff, like websites that are like, hey, but it's shady and you never get approved. Dr. Addy, I know you're not necessarily someone who can hook up clinical trial participation with me, but where do I go? Can I go to some school and say, hook me up? I'll test it for money.
Probably. I would look into whatever university near you has a medical school.
Oh, okay.
They're usually always looking for participants.
All right. I'm going to pay my rent next month.
To answer the question that you asked before, a second large 12-month trial is expected to be completed this summer, and the company that has developed this drug is aiming for FDA approval by early next year.
If we have an FDA, but I'm gonna get on that. Okay. Addie, I appreciate that. Any final thoughts? Any final lingering thoughts?
I have two for you, Ken.
Yeah.
Can I please request that you wash your hands when you handle Squirrely?
Well, I don't touch Squirrely. I don't pet Squirrely.
When he eats out of your hand?
Well, I hold the little peanut shell.
Okay.
And he only grabs the peanut shell. There's video.
Okay.
It's safe. Yeah, squirrels are carriers. I'm not gonna go petting no squirrels.
Okay.
And I don't dip my I don't put my tongue in the water.
That's good. And then finally, shameless plug. Please follow at Prof of Smart Things on Blue Sky. I am one away from triple digits, people.
Oh, someone in chat tonight. Someone dropped that link in our chat. Someone's going to follow. Steve, would you finally do something around here? And would you put her link in chat for Blue Sky?
All right.
Though now that I said it out loud, what great content would it be if me and a squirrel were drinking out of the same bowl of water? Oh, man, that would be the best. No?
No.
Okay.
That is so close to the next coronavirus, Ken. Don't even.
I'm ground zero now. I'm patient zero on squirrely virus. Oh, I'd go viral indeed. All right, Addie, thank you so much. Yeah, there's that link. We're gonna hit triple digits here today. 898 for M wants me to not become like RFK Jr. That's fair. No squirrel worms in my head. Thank you, Addie. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Ken.
All right. I almost accidentally kicked producer Steve out of there. I had my hand over your name. There you go. All right. Good call, Addie, indeed. Science is back, baby. Science is back. Yes, so here's the update. We got time for some calls. I got Aiden. I got Brady. And then we're going to do 16 seconds of sports. If you want to call into the show, you can be a channel member, become a channel member here on YouTube, or a Patreon support at patreon.com/KenApslock. Thanks to those who are jumping on the friend level. That gets you into the Discord. And appreciate that. You can also scan the QR code or find the link down below, or get some merch down below, like this nice Team Zoc hat that's here. Steve, update though. 4 squirrels in my yard regularly.
Okay.
The crow is okay, is gone. It learned to kind of fly, though I saw it 3 days later bouncing around, getting better at flying. So I did my job there. And then yesterday I decided, or over the weekend, I said, it's getting kind of hot. I want these squirrels to have water. So I made a little water cup out of a red Solo cup I cut, like an arts and crafts store. But yesterday I went to IKEA, took myself to dinner at IKEA, and then I got myself I got a little bowl. Steve, I got a little water bowl for the squirrels. It's the cutest thing.
So we've officially invested money in the squirrels now. It's happened.
I got $25 worth of almonds and peanuts in my kitchen. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, and Squirrely, the lead one, he is now. I had to break up a fight the other day.
Oh no!
Between the one that is Squirrely and the one I call Kylo, because it has this scar on his face. And I heard this.
So we've named a second one. This is new, Ken. This is news.
Right. You're correct.
Okay, please.
We have Squirrely and the Mumps, but the Mumps are 2 younger, tinier squirrels. I don't know as well, and they won't eat from my hand.
Okay.
And again, to clarify, I hold a peanut up and they take it they don't touch my hand. Except for the first one. That one time, Stevie put his little paw in my hand to steady himself. I'm dying. I have a disease. I have a disease now. I'm dying, but it was worth it.
That explains a lot, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then this other one showed up with, I thought was either a marking or scar. As I said, it's a scar. Yeah. And he, no training. He was like ready to go. He was like, hey, dude, I hear you got peanuts. Let me eat a peanut from your hand. Yeah. And he took one. And then, Did I talk? Oh, I told the story already, right? I saw him down the street.
I haven't heard this story. I wasn't here on Saturday, but no, I heard this story.
Steve, I went to 7-Eleven, which is the nearest 7-Eleven to me. It's about 7 houses up.
Yeah.
And I was walking back, and I look over, and I go, oh, there's a squirrel in someone else's yard. Then I look at it, I'm like, Kylo? I'm not lying. I'm not making this up for the show. He stops what he is doing, and he looks at me like, oh, hey, nut guy. And by the time I got home, he was in my goddamn backyard. He was like, nut guy's out. I'm gonna go get some nuts.
No, that's I'm glad that you've established this personal relationship with the squirrels. And that, okay, so we have 2 named squirrels. So
yeah, I don't.
Squirrely and Kylo. Okay, I'm gonna have to
Squirrely and Kylo.
Yep.
And I don't know the Mumps. The Mumps get scared away too easily. They're too. They won't take food from me. But one of the Mumps was drinking water today, and Squirrely kind of scared him off. I got to talk to Squirrely. Squirrely's getting a little. He thinks this is his discovery, and that's kind of been the problem. And so I was about to record Force Center the other day, and I hear this like squeal I've never heard before, and I rush out, and Kylo and Squirrely were fighting, and I had to come out and stamp my foot. Literally stamp my foot and say, Squirrely, Kylo, stop. And they stopped. Steve, I'm not saying I'm mentally well, but I'm saying this is getting me through a dark time.
Well, I'm happy. I mean, they are. It does sound like they're getting you through a time, and I'm
The thing is, Steve, I'm not making up one word of this.
I really don't think you are at all. Like, I get the whole radio thing where we have to kind of, play exaggerate things. That's not, no, I'm totally understanding this is word for word your life right now. And I'm here for you.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Are you ready for a call or two?
Let's do it.
Let's take Aiden on the show. Aiden made his first call to the show on Saturday. He's a long time first time. Now he's a long time second time. Aiden, buddy, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Hey, Ken. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man, now that I got my squirrel friends. And you calling into the show regularly, buddy. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so unlike Addie, I'm not a doctor, but I have stayed in the Holiday Inn Express. And
that counts.
And I am but no, actually, I'm an insurance adjuster of property claims, and I make a living off of leaks. We got to get whatever the equivalent of surf pro is to that, wherever that lava is coming from.
Who does Earth file the claim with is what I want to know.
I don't know, but we got to get that claim filed. Otherwise,
The paperwork is through the roof.
there's no such thing as a non-problematic leak.
No. Yeah, that's my thing. There's that if we came up with another word, I'd be less worried. But leak is never good.
No,
Never
it's
good.
not. No, that's how you end up tearing out the pipes. That's what.
But leak just makes me think that like Earth is like dripping into space though. Like I don't like where does Earth
Yes.
like you know what I mean? That's what I imagine there's like a teardrop thing just like dropping from the South Pole into just nothing. But that doesn't make sense in space and gravity, and Addie's getting mad at me as I say this. Sorry, shutting up now.
Yeah, no, we got to tear out whatever's there and put in some laminate or something.
Yes, yeah, we need to seal that up like you all say in chat. Night, David McKay. Night.
Lava proof, but
that's funny, Aiden. We and now that we know that you're the resident insurance adjuster here, any insurance questions, you could charge a rate. By the way, we're not going to take free labor from you, but it's good to know we all have you on retainer.
Well, to quote my favorite Star Wars character, I don't work for free, so
That's smart. Anytime I run into like old family friends or I visit my folks and they introduce me to someone and they're like, oh, Ken's a comic. They go, oh, really? Say something funny. I always say, only if you pay me. And then they laugh and they think it's a great joke. And then I just keep saying, but only if you pay me.
as you
All
should.
right. Aiden, what's on your mind today?
Well, actually, kind of involves the character I just referenced. So I found myself. It's a little bit Star Wars related, but it's more related to like some of the films that have influenced Star Wars.
Okay.
And so I was, obviously Andor just wrapped, and I really enjoyed it. And
Same.
without saying, and obviously, like this is not to disparage any other Star Wars show or media, but I will say I think it's pretty clear that Andor got a little bit more mature than some of the other shows have.
Absolutely.
And so the other night I was watching one of my all-time favorite movies, which is Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, and which is a fantastic film. And it reminded me a little bit of like a show that I liked, but I did struggle with a little bit, which is Book of Boba Fett, because, while I do like that show, and I think it got to these points a little bit, I wanted it to sort of, maybe deconstruct what bounty hunting was a little bit and just kind of the nastiness of that business. Because, you talk about it in your book, like everybody wanted to, like when you guys used to like reenact the sail barge battle on the playground. And, I imagine the line to be Boba Fett was pretty long. But so it's like, you grow up, you want to be Boba Fett. It's like, this guy's awesome. He's got a jetpack. And then you see other bounty hunters like in the Clone Wars, like Cad Bane and Aurra Sing, and you're like, oh, this is a violent, nasty business. So I was wondering, like, has there ever been like a Star Wars thing that like explored a theme, but you wished it got a little bit deeper?
That's a great question. And as someone who's a fan of the Book of Boba Fett and really loves what they did in it, I also hear what you're saying and don't think you're wrong by any stretch of imagination. Number one, it's personal desire, opinion. But two, like the bounty hunter class is pretty big in Star Wars, mostly because of Boba Fett. But like it was like Jedi, Sith, Rebel, Empire, bounty hunter, or smuggler, or scoundrel, right? These are like classes of Star Wars characters. So I'm with you on that. I think I'll say this because it's not a slight against Andor. Andor ended up doing what it wanted to do, what Tony wanted to do, and his writers wanted to do, and what Diego Luna wanted to do. And I'm so appreciative of that. I've just been rewatching the series because I want to, not because of Force Center. I've just been having it on here the last couple of days. So I love it. But there was a pitch of the show that I'm glad they didn't do. Gilroy's addressed it. That was the Spies, a spy show, right? And now Andor gets to that, as I'm clear on that, and I think you know what I mean. It gets to that. But I still would love a show that explores that on a granular level, that is narrow focused on it. Whereas we're not so much worried about the formation of Rebel Alliance. We are not, everything's political, so it would be political, but Mon Mothma is a side character, and think of that, like the Spies. And if that, if it's Rogue 2 and the story of the second Death Star, great, because maybe the Alliance is more formed at that time. Or maybe you go back to the Clone War era. Maybe it's somewhere around that. Maybe it's Republic spies, Separatist spies. But just that kind of spy thriller, which I do really like. I still want that show. So happy with Andor. It's pitch perfect for me. But I would like a Rebel spy show from beginning to end. That
I
makes sense.
agree. That would be absolutely dope.
Mhm.
And yeah, like there were, but yeah, like I said, I love Nandor, and I do really like Book of Boba Fett. I thought it addressed a lot of things I like. I loved his journey and where he ultimately got. But yeah, it was also like one of those things too, where I sort of wanted it to discuss some things about Boba Fett we didn't know, like even the relationship between him and his dad. Because I was just thinking about it the other night, like Boba knows what his dad does. And like, so I assume he like knew Zam Wessel. So like, did his dad explain that to him? Was he like, did he give him like was it like De Niro on the phone in Goodfellas? Or like, yeah, she's gone. Nothing we could do.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for the Clone Wars series, they start to scratch that itch a little bit for me, and him learning in that system, and him learning with Aura Singh as a bad mom, and all. I'd love to know a little bit more of that. And I was overjoyed when even in Mandalorian, Boba Fett so directly addresses his father and addresses his claims to being a Mandalorian. Like I as a prequel fan, that meant a lot to me. That wasn't pushed aside because one of the little there's so much discussion around the prequels in the prequel era about what people didn't like of them. I think it's almost forgotten that Jango was disliked in a lot of circles as well for being, his name's Jango Fett and it's his dad. A lot of people are upset with that back then. A lot of people are upset with Kid Boba. But I think it's powerful stuff. I think they've explored it, but I'd love a little bit more, like you said.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I felt about that too. That was my only problem with that. It was just like I wanted to see more of that relationship. Like, what's this father-son situation like? Because Django's clearly a loving dad, but he's also like, you see that my favorite episode of Clone Wars is Hostage Crisis, and you see like what Cad Bane and Aura Singh are doing, and you're just like, oh, is this what Boba and Django did? Like, were they doing this too? And you're like, oh yeah, they were doing that. So it's like,
until Mace Windu ended it all.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the life he chose, and I like the lesson of that whole arc.
I do indeed. It's some of my favorite stuff. And to me, pulling the mask off Boba Fett began with George Lucas. Began with his stories in Clone Wars, putting those in the series, and Attack of the Clones. Choosing to go right then and there to the kid behind the mask we'd all fall in love with. Aiden, this is great stuff, man. I appreciate your Star Wars questions.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Aiden, our resident insurance adjuster. Steve, we want to do one more call, and then we'll get to 16 seconds of sports and calls after?
It sounds good. Your show, Ken. We can do whatever you want. I'm here, man. I'm not going anywhere.
All right. Brady is warning us. Brady is warning us. All right. Brady's on the show.
Okay.
Brady's on the show. Brady, are you going to get snippy? Are you angry with me?
No. But I just want to say, Ken, how does it feel that your Yankees no longer have the biggest choke in New York sports in the past year?
It feels great. It feels great to be off the hook. What happened? What happened at is it with Madison Square Garden? Where did this take place?
Yep, Madison Square Garden. The New York fans were being New York fans, being loud. Of course, 25 years of painful Knick disappointment.
Okay.
You're finally in the conference finals.
Okay. And this was the finals. This is where playoffs are going on. Okay.
Yeah, conference finals. And Knicks Pacers is a historic matchup. We all know the the choke, from what's his name? I forget his name.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller, yes.
For your time, Brady. It's okay.
Brother of Cheryl and Daryl Miller. Daryl Miller played for the Angels, Brady.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Athletes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the scenario is that, the Knicks, with 2 minutes left in the game, the fourth quarter, they had a 14-point lead. And the 900 times this has happened in history, every team has won.
900?
900.
Hold on, 900 times.
900. Actually, it's more than that, 930 times.
Holy moly.
Until this time.
How much time on the clock? 2 minutes?
2 minutes. And get this, they had 30 seconds left in the quarter. They had a 9-point lead, I believe. Yeah.
How is that possible? I gotta go watch the highlights.
Yeah, watch the last minute. You'll
9
see.
points in 30 seconds. What were they flinging the ball around like kids on a schoolyard, Brady?
So one of their role players, was it Matt or no? It was someone else. I can't even remember his name, but
Joe Schmo. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
he's a role player. He was a sharpshooter in college, but then he made 6 threes in the quarter, 5 threes in a row
For Indiana.
for Indiana. He
Those
turned that
White
14
bread
points
fucks.
deficit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so then so Indiana wins by how many points?
3 points.
And
went to
someone made a choke sign?
Oh yeah, you won't believe the last
I
play.
got you.
He actually lost the handle. He ran out to the 3-point line, and he just launched it, and it didn't go in. It bounced. It reached the timer. It bounced that high, and then it went in.
Okay.
And then get this, his toe
Okay.
was on the line. So instead of winning, they went to overtime.
Oh, this went to overtime.
Yes, he made the choke celly, and the game wasn't even over yet.
So this is a Nick. This is a New York Knickerbocker. When did he make the choke sign?
This was not a New York. This was a Pacer.
Okay. I'm okay. Steve, help me here. I'm confused. The Pacer made the choke sign?
Because the
Yes.
Pacers were down 2 points. Yes, Halliburton.
So why did he make the choke sign? Oh, because he shoots the 3 thinking it was going in?
Yeah, he thought he won the game, and he was channeling Reggie Miller, who was also a Pacer. Who
Yeah, I'm aware of that. In fact,
All right, you want here? I'll give you here, Ken. While you
there's
grab
my-
whatever.
there's my Reggie. There's a
Ooh.
Reggie Miller card right
Oh.
there for you.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh.
Yeah. So for context for everybody, like
Yeah,
but
let's
before
get some
Brady
context.
Yeah, I got you here. This is what I'm here for, right? So before Brady was born, the pace. I think it was before Brady was born. Reggie
Yes,
Miller
it
and
was
the
before I
Knicks.
was born. Yeah, before my
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So the Knicks and the Pacers played in the conference. I think it was the conference finals, or it was the conference finals back then, or maybe the conference semifinals. Anyway, and Reggie Miller was like the Hall of Fame player for the Pacers, and he famously scored like a shit ton of points in like 8 seconds or 14 seconds or whatever it was to come back in Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks in the playoffs. I think they actually lost that series, but anyways, Reggie Miller famously did the choke symbol that you see Tyrese Halliburton on your screen currently doing.
Okay.
Courtesy of
Okay.
WTOP is who gave me that image. And so I'm a good reporter, Ken. And
You're doing great.
Yeah, and so that is the historical context. And so last night, again, the Pacers come down from a historic margin in this playoff game against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden again. And Reggie Miller is calling the game for TNT Sports. He is on the desk as Tyrese Halliburton is doing the thing that he saw himself do 25 years ago. And then Tyrese Halliburton hits the shot to force the game to go to overtime, does the choke symbol, and then everything Brady just said is accurate.
But then the Pacers win.
The Pacers win in overtime.
So it's a little less painful.
No,
Is this like the scene from Roxanne where at the beginning of the movie, Steve Martin's fire captain character beats up Kevin Nealon and Rich Sneidner, 2 comics, and then later on they're in a bar and someone else is starting to fight with Steve Martin, and Kevin Nealon and Rich are in the background going, "No, don't do it." Is that what Reggie Miller was doing?
That's what. Yes, that's exactly.
Just
what
say
happened.
yes. Just
Yes.
say yes to your crazy uncle.
Yes, that's exactly. I wanted to make sure I said that right, but yes.
Okay. All right. So what's the lesson from here, Brady? You got to you got to get me to a point here.
Well, as one Yankee said, it ain't over till it's over.
That's a great point. Yogi Berra, Hall of Famer, multiple-time champion with the greatest franchise in sports history. So that's it for the series. The series is done. It's over.
Nah, that was game 1. We still got 3 more games.
I just think it's less important if it's game 1. I don't think anyone's going to remember that.
Well, they
Steve,
stole
am I
home
wrong?
court.
You're not wrong, but this is like one of those moment things. I mean, when Iverson stepped over Kobe, that was game 1. Even though they still lost the series, people still remember the thing
Wait,
that happened.
that wasn't Kobe. That was Tyronn Lue.
Okay.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Okay.
Laker fan of the year.
So I get it, right? Carlton Fisk's
totally
home
right.
run. Carlton Fisk's home run in Boston. Not a winner. The Reds win the game 7. The Red Sox didn't lose the World Series on Buckner's gaff. They lost it the next night. So this is still going to stand the test of time in terms of great NBA moments. But if the Knicks win the series, then it is the Pacers who have choked, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could say that. I mean, the Knicks are. I don't know if the
Oh,
Knicks were technically favored to win the series just because they have home court advantage. Well, they did till they lost game one. But the historic thing about this is just the fact that they were up 14, 16, whatever it was, with a few minutes to go, 2-3 minutes to go, and they blew the game and lost the game. And the Knicks have just been comically bad for 25 years. The Knicks are the Jets of basketball, Ken. Like to give you context.
This is why I root for the Miami Dolphins and a team with a great history of not struggling for 25 years. Okay. Brady, I appreciate this story. This is fascinating. We're going to talk about sports. You've brought it to a great point. My question to you is, what are the Lakers doing in the playoffs?
God damn it. We're on vacation.
You're on vacation. You're playing golf early. Okay.
Yep.
Good to know, Steve. Good to know. Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are playing the Cancun team for the next.
All right. All right.
God, we're looking at Luka Doncic's weight right now.
Laker players are doing what Addy won't do. Get drunk on White Claw. They're having fun down in Cancun. Okay. All right. All right. Brady, thank you for your call, my friend.
And thank you for having me.
Brady's one of the best. I hope to see you, Brady. Take the bus up to Flappers May 30th. Steve, you've seen me perform comedy, but it was when I was not as good as I am now. So I feel as though you're owed another show.
That's. I mean, I appreciate that. I thought you were fine. I enjoyed it. We had a good time. My wife thought you were funny.
Depends on the night. Were you there the night you were in DC, right?
Yep.
Were you there?
Very small bar.
Yeah, very small. Were you
just
there?
Small by be like low ceilings. Like,
yeah, no, low ceiling. Yeah, no, it was the venue wise. It was fine. It was, but it was like low because it was essentially in a basement. Were you there the show where there was a customer who was not like a Mark Ellis or Ken Knapsack fan? They just went out for a night of comedy, and they started getting in an argument with the waitress, right at the beginning of my set.
Yep.
You were there for that one.
I was right next to them, Ken. I was because we were. I don't want to be that guy, but we were just kind of close by. But yeah, I was right there.
Did you know them? Were you friends?
No, me and my wife went there. Just me and her. I
okay.
was like, oh, hey, babe, remember that thing we did at Star Wars? Yeah, let's go to that guy again.
So here's the thing. I hated that set because that put me in such a foul mood, and I didn't know what to do, and I still don't know. I'm better at handling that kind of stuff now, but it's one of those things where you're like, you don't want to get involved, and you're just like, shut up, man. And it was in my head the rest of the set, and I really, really fucked me up. So what the fuck happened? No one's really ever told me what happened.
That dude had no. That was the classic of he just kind of walked in and thought there was just like random comedy going on. He just had he didn't read the room, didn't know what was going on, had never been there before, and even the people behind us were talking like they were trying to get him to kind of like get his shit together before
before it even began.
Right. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That was no bueno.
What was the issue? Was he 2-item minimum or something, or
I don't remember, man.
Okay.
He was producer Steve.
Much like an Indiana Pacers Knicks memory from game one of a series.
Yeah.
You were involved with one of my most painful stand-up comedy memories.
Hey, well, for what it's worth, we had a great time. I don't think anyone in the audience would have gotten that vibe because we certainly didn't get the vibe that you were like, oh, this guy's clearly like rattled or anything like that. No one got that impression. So I hope if that gives you any solace, 5, 6 years later, whatever the hell it is. There you go. But I do remember at the for a quick aside, at the celebration recording of Ellis's show in Chicago.
Yeah.
The one that was like being like taped and everything. It was. I do remember you know exactly what I'm about to say, right? There were some real pieces of work that were like
the two British dudes,
Australian, British, whatever they were,
whatever the fuck they were. They're from,
I don't know what the country just started, but those guys,
Van Diemen's Land.
I've seen in a live because I've been to like a few comedy shows. That's the worst I've seen as far as people just being like. Just intentionally being assholes.
I've seen worse. I've had someone charge a stage ticket. Mike, for me, I've seen near fights and everything. But what was it was Ellis's goddamn special, and they were fans of him.
Oh, okay. It did not come off that way at all.
It was like
these dudes clearly don't know like where they are, like blah blah blah. It was the whole thing.
Yeah, well, and that whole night was fucked because the club hated us. They did not want us there. The band next door was supposed to go off at 8. They played till 11. The special was the fact that they were even got a special out of it. The staff almost fought me, Makuga, and Scrimshaw. Like they only let us use one bathroom on a top floor bar, and anytime one of us walked up there to go to the bathroom, and before your comedy show, you're pissing 9 times.
Right.
Sometimes it's just wind, but you're like, I've got the nervous piece
out. Right.
And we'd go up there and like they would ask for our ID every time, and we're like, come on, like we're the comics performing downstairs, and it was like Pee Wee Herman walking into a biker bar. That night, God bless Mark Ellis for getting the special that he got out of that night because. Which folks brings me to this transition. Don't forget to come on out. May 30th, the Flappers. I need to sell some tickets. Ken Napzok and Mark Ellis. Hey, that's me. A co-headlining night, followed by a comedy press conference. There is a chance I'm trying to lock down a very special guest to run that comedy press conference after our sets. But I have to see if he really was serious when he said he was coming into town. All right. Great memories. Sorry. And then JMB asked this question. Have you and Christian, I'm assuming Harloff, I get so many questions about that guy here. Have performed together the same night. Yeah, all the time. That's how we're friends. We used to perform every week for about 4 years at Room 5 on La Brea and Beverly, a comedy spot. And Harloff, to this day, one of my favorite comics to watch work. And then he and I used to do shows at the Improv. I met him at the Improv, and then we started doing shows regularly there. So, yeah, absolutely, I've performed with him. And I know he's not doing comedy as much. I think that's a shame because he was one of my favorite comics to watch back in the day. All right. And Alan Smith says this Dynasty typewriter. No, this was in Chicago at a rock club. Rads apologizes for his countrymen. Steve's right. It could have been Australians, New Zealanders. I don't know. Someone with some kind of weird accent that once tried to take our country. I don't know.
It was one of the two. Again, I don't want to be too, judgy or whatever. They weren't from Chicago, is all I'm going to say, Ken. They didn't sound like they were from Chicago. Let's put it that way.
They were not. They were not from Chicago. All right. We're going to do some 16 seconds of sports. And then I got some blather questions. What do we used to call them? Blather chats, super blathers. Gosh.
Super blathers. That sounds good.
We do have some other super chats I want to get to. So that's going to be that. We got Sean lined up. And then I'll favorite. Tully's got a great question. I'll favorite that one. All right, cool. But now we're transitioning into 16 seconds of sports with producer Steve. That's producer Steve down in the corner. That's a thumbs down. That's producer Steve.
Don't give me thumbs down. That's pretty good.
But take it away, Steve. 16 seconds of sports.
Here we go. 16 seconds of sports. Brady already covered it, but good God, what happened to the Knicks? In sad news, Jim Irsay from the Indianapolis Colts, the owner, passed away at 65 yesterday. And also in the NFL, the Tush push was saved for now, including thanks to the help of your Miami Dolphins. The WNBA is back and better than ever. And the biggest weekend in motorsports this weekend as the Monaco Grand Prix in Formula One and the Indianapolis 500 are happening this weekend. Ken, that's your 16 seconds in sports.
Love this. We talked about basketball. WNBA. I haven't sat down and watched a ton of the action. To be honest, I don't even know where I can do that. But because I shadow produce some stuff with WNBA right now for a podcast, I'm so familiar with the names right now. Kelsey Plum, Paige Buchers, of course, Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink still hurt. I know all these names now, Steve. Rickea Jackson, Angela Reese. Like, I'm in. And there's some good stuff going on in the league.
Brady, I would be interested to see what Brady's thought on this is sometime, but the WNBA is doing a better job right now of producing stars than the NBA is.
Yes.
The NBA is holding on for dear life to LeBron and to Steph and the old dudes. And the WNBA has, like, people thought, like, they peaked with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And then this last draft class, they spit out, Paige Beckers and Haley Van Lith and all these great, all these amazing players. And then you still have the amazing players you already had in the WNBA with Wilson and, like you said, with Brink and
Brittany Griner. Yeah, Brittany Griner's still playing now down in Atlanta. Yeah.
Dude, there's just so many names, and I think the fact that the league has a few less teams than the WNBA, the fact that it still is smaller, and the fact that it's still growing helps in that, so that these these really good players, these cool stories are more condensed, and in the bigger cities, definitely helps. Was it Golden State? The Valkyries are a debut team this year. Were they the ones that set the attendance record? I think they had 18,000. Yeah, that's amazing. Show up for the first franchise game. These are big numbers, and I'm really happy for it. I'm really happy for this league that was mocked just mercilessly early on, and people calling it bad basketball, just the unprocessed sexism behind some of the conversations around it, and also maybe it's just some things that were true about the league struggling to get itself off the ground. I had reason to believe it started in the 90s. I had reason to believe that this thing wouldn't last. This was just going to be some fad. No, it's still going, and it's the best it's ever been, and it's only getting better. Yeah, no, it's absolutely, it's growing like crazy, and the product itself is better than it's ever been, I think, in my opinion, just from a basketball standpoint, for sure. My hot take is the WNBA is definitely, from a basketball standpoint, more interesting to watch than men's college basketball, because they make their shots. Men's college players just miss all the time. That's the thing. That's why I love the NBA. But not that they make all the time, but like it's just a different, it's just different craft, right? And the WNBA, they just like it's a different style of basketball, but it's really fun to watch, and the stars are there, which is really cool. The stars are there. That's the thing. Anytime these big sports leagues have struggled, a lot of it has to do, to me, with the star power. Baseball's done a slightly better job lately. Maybe I think they were given one of the greatest gifts in history with Shohei Ohtani, who's just marketing ready. Just an amazing story, doing amazing things. But there was that time where, like, even when you had good players, I don't think people could have picked Mike Trout out of a lineup. I don't think a lot of people could still pick Mike Trout out of a lineup, or I mean, maybe Aaron Judge you could probably pick out of a lineup just because that dude's like an Adonis. But no,
he's
you're
6'7", but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, you're totally right. No, it is about how can you market those stars, and how can you get people who don't watch the sport to know who those people are. I love it. Addie says she literally ran into Brittany on Grindr, which is a little different. Oh, she meant Griner. All right. Both work for me. Ranger Donald says, I've seen more WNBA merch than NBA in my local Dick's Sporting Goods store recently. I think there's something psychological in that. Finally getting more WNBA jerseys at Dick's. All right? The tide is turning. Tide is turning. Deep down inside. Love this. I don't follow motorsports too closely, but even I know about the Grand Prix of Monaco. What a James Bond-like event. I might have to tune into that. If you want to watch the tears of a suffering Ferrari fan occasionally on your doom scrolling on Blue Sky, follow producer Steve. I'm a huge Formula One fan, and it is, like I said, it is the Real Housewives of motorsport. So if you're not, you don't even have to necessarily love the sport of it. It's fun Steve, to follow. Go ahead. And I know you and I've talked about this, but sports is about characters. And I write occasionally for The Drive, a YouTube channel that is all about motorsports. I've written a couple videos for them. I do not know motorsports, but I wrote a video, and I did a lot of research on the rise of F1 tied to the reality show that they have. Yes. It is simple. It is simple math. Yeah. The sport could be anything in the world. Okay, I've created that sport with my old roommates. We created the sport ruckus in our backyard, throwing darts at lemons and Nerf footballs. Who gives a crap? If you got into our stories, you'd cheer it. You'd buy tickets for it. We love the characters, and F1 is doing a great job of putting characters out there. Yes, and they're all really, really good looking, which helps a lot, especially for people like my wife, who is the exact person who's of your story there, who we started watching the documentary during COVID, and she's now obsessed. It's like her favorite sport after baseball, and she's a huge baseball fan. But after that, we're obsessed with Formula One. She loves Formula One. It's like her favorite thing, and it's because of that show. Period. Like no shame. No shame indeed. There's also F1 movie coming out. Brad Pitt's going to bring people there as well. You have Keanu Reeves as a professional race car driver, right? And there was the Pro-Am. Yeah. But in October 2024, he made his debut as a pro racer. Yeah, he can do everything. Keanu can do everything. He's the best. All right, any final sports notes I'm not discussing? Oh, the big one. The football. The Tush push. Speaking of things on Grindr, Steve, the Tush push lives on.
thanks in part to a lot of different factors. You as an Eagle fan, this was going to ruin your year or save it. Your year is saved. I concede the floor to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I had already gotten ammo because the rumor came out like 2 hours before the ruling that it was like, oh, it's over, it's done, the tush push is out, it's going to get voted on. Like they were reporting that, hey, get ready to cry, Eagles fans, they're going to vote to ban it. And so I'd already gotten the ammo of, oh man, our team was so good, you guys had to ban our play, and like this is ammo forever. Like, oh, this is great. Like it's kind of a win in that regard. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to see if a team would, like how a ref would call it if they just did a variation of it, that maybe they weren't just pushing Jalen in the booty into the end zone. Like if they just kind of did something that was make them call it, Ken. That's what I'm saying. Make them call it. Make them look soft and call it.
They were going to unveil the wheelbarrow. Like what were they going to do?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Exactly. Just have everyone push not the ball carrier or something. I don't know. Just see what happens if they just all. I don't know. Just some kind of variation.
I'm with you.
I think they would totally do it just for the statement.
They would have been like, sorry, that wasn't the tush push, it was the rump bump, and it's a totally different play with different personnel on the field, different huddle call, like
exactly.
Okay.
Make that ref throw the flag and make everyone look super soft at how they were about. Oh man, they're playing football too hard, Ken. We can't have them play too much football.
We've discussed. I know Chris Jones of the Kansas City Professional Football Club says it's an injury concern, and I know you're concerned about players' health, Steve. But how much do you call bull roar on that?
I call quite a bit on two accounts, Ken. Two reasons here. All of the data suggests there haven't been any like substantial injuries on the tush push plays, or any data that suggests this play is more dangerous than any other play in football. Every play is 300-pound dudes crashing at each other at as fast as they possibly can anyway. This isn't that much different. And number two, Chris Jones is a hypocrite because that dude lined up parallel to the line of scrimmage during a tush push play and tried to complain that that's why he got hurt. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry that you walked in front of a bus. What did you expect to happen?
Stay off the train tracks. Stay out of the Woolworths. Okay. Rich T says, Steve, coincidentally, the Packers were one of the main ones against the tush push. The final vote was 22-10, which was the score that the Eagles beat the Packers in the playoffs. Oh, Steve, do we have in chat there, or do we have a rebuttal? Do you see that down there? I see a dog behind you. Is that a rebuttal caller down there in the queue?
I hope so. I mean, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything down there. I hope there is a rebuttal. I think that I've heard rumors of this, but I do know that between the 22-10, being the Packers being a little salty about how, how they not only lost to the Eagles, but yes, they were the ones that proposed this ban on the tush push, and kind of are the ones eating the crow here, so to speak.
Eating the crow. I just want to make sure. You said you have your buddy was going to show up in chat. Is that him down there, or is that another Alec?
I don't know.
You find out. You find out. Okay. You do some producing there in the chat.
I'll take some time.
And as far as I don't have any strong take on the tush push or the rump bump or the pelvic thrust.
Okay.
Other than I get it a little bit. Every time I watch it happen, I'm like, it's such a foregone conclusion. But that, to make a rule about it, to me, does take away the sport of it all.
Right. Especially the year they won the Super Bowl, man. Like what? Like
yeah.
That's the worst part. Like if it was a year ago or something like that, that might be one thing. But if you are, it's if you can't do it, they won the. But here's the thing, they won the Super Bowl like by 1 million points. So it's not like the tush push won the Super Bowl, right? And if anything, there were teams that tried to break it in the playoffs, and the Washington team. I forget what the hell their team is being called themselves. The Commanders. They made a fool of themselves.
Such disrespect from a Philly Eagle
absolutely.
fan.
Hey, that was absolutely intentional, if you're wondering. Okay. Get the hell. I'm on my soapbox here. You guys try to ban my play. You failed, and we kicked I'm going to say we here. Damn it, I am going to say we. The Eagles they kicked everyone's ass. They won the Super Bowl. Frankie Louvu can't jump over the line of scrimmage because he's not Troy Polamalu, because his hair doesn't look like mine.
Right.
and Kansas City can eat it because they lost by 1,000,000 points, and the real score of that game is 40-6. I don't know why. I'm just ranting at this point. What are we talking about?
No. When Rich T brings up, hey, the NFL should have tried to ban Mahomes throwing to Tyreek Hill a few years ago. And then Cinder has the question. This is the question that I come down on your side on this, Steve, even though I don't want the tush push to defeat me in the Super Bowl, but I don't think the Dolphins are getting there this year. But Cinder has the fair question. Why aren't other teams, why are they not pushing their tushes? Why not?
Well, the Bills tried, and Josh Allen's booty isn't as able to be pushed as well as Jalen Hurts is apparently.
And Rads. By the way, shout out to Rads for being a UK-based NFL fan. It's not a foregone conclusion. The Bills failed running and cost them. We just run it well. Fly, Eagles, fly. Look, I agree. I agree with that because you couldn't do it with Tua. Because if you tried to push that tush, his body would just crumble upon impact.
He would break in half. Poor Tua.
We have to do the ass in a sling play where we pick him up and carry him over the line and set him down nicely.
I mean, it helps that, like I said, that Jalen Hurts can squat like 600 pounds. They have arguably the best running back in the league. They have the best offensive line in the league. So it does sound smug to say, yeah, just do it better. But it's sports. Do it better. Sorry.
Do it better.
For a reason. Get over it.
Do it better. All right. There you go.
I get to be an asshole about that for like 4 more months, Ken. Just let me have this.
We're going to let you have it. All right. We got some super chats, some super blathers. We got some calls to get to. And it's not your friend. You had said your friend was going to show up. It's our other friend. We have a lot of friends. We got calls queued up here for Sean and Alec calling in. But first, I want to get to some super chats. Thank you, JMB, for helping me hit my super chat goal tonight. David Mackay asks with a super chat, he asks a thirsty question, and I'm going to allow this one. Is Tyene Sand the most beautiful woman in Game of Thrones? No. And Tyene Sand is, of course, one of the Sand Snakes. Rosabelle Lorente Sellers plays her, and look, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Here's the thing. You're not losing with anybody in Game of Thrones. They're all pretty. All right, they're all pretty, but fair question. JMB with another super chat. JMB, my smile's worth more than coffee to him. That's beautiful. Another one, and then one there. Other questions coming in here. Bear with me, Steve. Hey, Malcolm with love these questions from Malcolm. Say, Ken, hope you're doing okay. As a lifelong Californian, I was wondering, what do you think are the best representations of LA in art, movies, music, etc.? Always thought Michael Mann got the city right. Oh, love Michael Mann's view of LA. Love Collateral. Absolutely love Collateral. I don't know. It's vibes when it comes to like sadness and the attempts to find love. I go to Shop Girl, Steve Martin's novella, but also the movie. This is too fresh in my mind. But I just finished Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's series, The Studio, at least season 1. I just binged that in 2 days, and I know the finale dropped yesterday. I love that show. That show is so goddamn fun, and it's such an ode to movies and the city. And it doesn't hurt that they have like at least 3 or 4 times they go to the Smokehouse, my favorite restaurant in LA. I do think La La Land, I came around to La La Land. I think it shows a lot of LA. There's a lot of movies over time. Some have great parodies of LA Story done with love. But Michael Mann's Collateral, it just kind of captures the dark grit of the city that I love, that is present in some things. I'll have to think about that more, Malcolm, but it's a great question. Steve, as someone not from LA, do you have any thoughts on LA-based films?
I think you said the one I would have gone to, which would have been La La Land. I've only been to your fine city, Ken, 2 times in my life. Okay. And it was when I was younger. I wasn't of drinking age or anything like that, so I wasn't really.
You would have been boring. It would have done anything with you.
I wouldn't have any fun really. So, but I did enjoy my time. But no, that's where I would go.
Swingers. Even though it's Swingers captures a very specific time, not just a place. Also captures a genre of people in LA that I wasn't really a part of. But Swingers really captures LA in the 90s there. Tully has a great question here. Do you think there's too much focus on crowd work today in comedy? Yes and no. I've mentioned it in passing before, but it's a necessity, unfortunately. You as a comic, I don't know if it hurts as much but also I'm not at the level of other comics. But if you're truly trying to get people across the country or the world to come out and see you, pay their hard-earned money to see a big show. All right, I'm not talking like a Burr or a Marin or someone on the top, but I'm talking about one of those emerging superstars, or even like a Taylor Tomlinson or something like that, who's I'd say in a superstar category. If you're a Trey Crowder comes to mind, Steve Hostetler, these people, like, if you're going out 4 weekends a month and you need people to buy tickets to see it, you don't want to share your A material. You don't want to share even your B or C material. You want them to come out and react to it and not have too much familiarity with you. It happens. Like I released a comedy album in 2023 in my day. The punchline of my closing bit is technically ruined. Someone had known it and someone knew what I was doing, and someone called out the punchline as I was saying it. And we couldn't edit it out as much as I tried. It's there if you're hearing it. Bummed about that. That stuff happens. Mark Ellis will tell you, like, if you go see one of his shows and he's doing a bit that you might be familiar with, it just sit on it and laugh when the punchline hits. There's people that start calling out the words, and that's a problem. So that with the rise of TikTok and Reels propelling comedians to great levels of success that they wouldn't normally get. Not saying about that talent, but of just the way to get the word out. You need to do it. You need to share crowd work because it is off the cuff. It is funny, generally funny. It's organic, and it brings people into you, and it's worked. The problem I'm seeing in comedy at clubs is everyone's in on it now, and it's hard for any of it to work or be or as organic consistently as it used to be. It's not as fun anymore. It's expected. And then if you're not a comic that does a lot of crowd work, I don't do crowd work, but I do crowd managing, like I'm running a convention panel or something, where I like to bring people in with my energy, some kind of questions. And I'm not doing crowd work. I'm not roasting anybody. But audiences expect it. So if you're not doing it, they almost feel like they aren't seeing a good set. Mm-hmm. And they almost want to get involved. I've seen it a lot there. So there is too much focus on it, Tully, but unfortunately it kind of has to be. And this is kind of where we're at. Final one coming in here. We got more questions. We got one more after this. Mumra checking in. Hey, Mumra, have you seen the trailer for Paul Rubin's documentary called Pee-wee as Himself? It looks great. It comes out at HBO Max tomorrow. I have. As a big Paul Rubens fan, as a big Pee Wee Herman fan, I am going to be watching that this weekend. I cannot wait to watch it. It's going to be not only great, I think it's going to be important, Doc, for the life and times of Paul Rubens. So, Mumra, great question. I'll have a follow-up with that next week. And Addie asks, have I watched Wicked yet? No, I haven't watched Wicked yet. I think I said Wicket, like the Ewok. I haven't, but I'll say this, Steve. I have a little more time on my hands. I have a little more access to the living room. I've been watching a lot more. I even watched Jason Reitman's Saturday Night last night. Can talk about it anytime tomorrow. So there's a higher chance, a larger probability, Steve, that I will watch Wicked soon enough. Wicked.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get a full report, or we'll get a, maybe not the commentary. Oh man, what I would pay money for your Wicked commentary, by the way, especially your live.
Okay, good to know.
Just saying.
Good to know. Good to know.
I can arrange broadcasting that or something. We'll talk.
We'll name the price.
People will pay for that, Ken.
JMB says, like when comedians do crowd work, but I also think it may create expectations for the audience that are now part of the show. Yeah, that's kind of what happens there. Alan Smith says, how about heckling? Do we need more of that? No, I can heckle you next week. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. We got some calls here. And then we'll take it home here tonight. Let's do Alec checking in. Alec Mullins calling in. We thought it was Alex, Steve's drinking buddy, but instead it's Alec. How are you doing, Alec? Oh, Alec, he jumped. Oh, Alec, where'd you go? He was there. He was on stage, and he dropped out. All right. We'll wait for Alec to come back, and we'll go to a fake detective. Our friend Michael McCarcel coming in here. Detective McCarcel's in. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Ken. Got back from vacation yesterday, so.
Ooh. And how was it?
It was good. Last vacation that my fiance and I are going to be able to take for a while because she's moving for medical school. So at least 2 years.
Okay. You're going to have many more vacations in your life. Let me ask this question. When you come back from a vacation, do you have any like when I came back from vacation at the old job, there was a rule that none of my employees could ask me about the vacation for one full work day. Then I'd be ready to talk about it because then I accepted the reality that I was back at work. Do you have any kind of weird rules like that, or you just get back to it?
No. I usually at least just try to at least schedule myself in such a way that I have a day off to decompress after.
Smart.
Like,
okay.
This trip,
Smart.
we were supposed to go to Colorado originally, and it kind of fell through because our group just kind of, no one could get off of work or all this and that. And then, and conveniently, the place we were going to stay, turns out it's currently under renovation because her uncle's trying to sell it. So we went up to her other uncle in Indiana.
Love it. You saw the Indiana Fever play, I'm sure, for the WNBA.
Hey, no idea what that is, but I'll take your word on it.
It's a good basketball team. All right, Detective McCarcel, I'm distracting from your time here. What's on your mind? What question do you have for us?
I was going to ask you about vacation spots since I just got back. So you're far more well-traveled than me by a long shot. You've been at least to a couple other countries and a lot of the states. Have you been to every state?
I have not. I ended up I went from like almost no states. I went from California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, the greatest hits here in the West, to a lot thanks to comedy. Yeah. Whether or not I spend a ton of time with them, I've been blessed to get to the other cities and states. But yeah, what your question is in terms of vacation spots?
Yeah. So what is the big one that's left on your list still?
Internationally, it would be. I'd like to Spain, possibly, because there's so many wonderful things. Now, a lot of people are going to jump in here and say, "Well, Ken, aren't the Miami Dolphins playing in Spain in 2025?" They are. I am not currently in the position to go watch them play football. But Mark Ellis, we're playing Mark Ellis' team. We've talked about him. Spain.
I didn't know NFL really. I know there was like one team in the UK, if I remember right.
They've started this thing where once a year, they used to be like once a year they'd have like a London game. Now they go to Brazil and Spain and all these other. I'm not a huge fan of it as a fan of the sport, but it's okay. But we got people like Rads over there in the UK who get to watch games. I would love to get to Australia, and I would love to really want to get to New Zealand, specifically Wellington, where a friend of mine who has worked for Weta for years lives. And I'd love to go to Wellington. My fear is I'll never come back, that I'll just stay. I'll just try to get a visa or run to the hills, just say I'm returning a ring somewhere to Mordor and just stay and not come back because it just has those vibes. But in terms of states and everything, the thing about this, I don't vacation. I go work in cities because of comedy. So like my last vacation within the States, Catalina for a wedding, which was great here in California, an island about 45-hour boat ride out. I love going to Yosemite, but haven't been there in 30 years. And now it's with everything going on, it might be hard to get there. So I don't have good vacation spot ideas. I just have cities that I miss. It's been a while since New York. I want to get back to New York. I love anytime we go to Seattle. I love New Orleans. I've only been once. I've been dying to get back to New Orleans. It's
certainly something.
It's something, but I like it. You know what I mean? Like
I'm jaded because I had to go there a lot for an ex.
Oh, sure, but I look. I have family
every weekend there for a year and a half, and I just burned out.
I have family that live in Las Vegas. They don't want when I go out to Las Vegas. I don't even call them because I'm at the casinos. They don't want to come within 50 yards of casinos. So I totally get it. Jerry the Cannon Junkie is here. Says I've not been on vacation almost 10 years. And I'm so happy you showed up now, Jerry, and not early, where we confirmed that there's no life on other goddamn planets. All right, no one's taking a vacation to our planet, Jerry. Don't laugh, Steve. Don't laugh. Jerry has a delusion, and we need to, break him from it. But anyways, so I hope that's not a bummer answer, Michael.
No.
But I just like going to places.
Look, I don't blame you. I wish I had the time to just kind of chill in a vacation spot. Because I don't remember, was it on Backstage that Eddie was talking about a Disney trip? but I could do the same thing she does. She talked about how she just people watches at Disney, and I can do that.
I love that.
I would much rather just walk around Disney and just explore it. I don't need to get on a single ride. I don't need to do.
I mean, I want
anything.
to. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking with what's going on in my life right now. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'd love to go to Disneyland by myself and people watch. That's how you get thrown in jail. So I might have to.
Don't be a creep, and you won't get thrown in Disney jail.
But I got stopped just simply entering by myself to Disneyland once years ago. I got stopped.
Were you wearing a trench coat? What was happening?
No, I was wearing a hoodie. I was wearing a hoodie and cargo pants. I did not have style back then. And they thought I was another guy. I've told the story at places before. I won't repeat it, but I was freaked out because the whole time I'm like, it's okay. I'm going into. I was meeting friends there. One who was a cast member. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going by myself. And I walked through the gate and I get stopped. I got stopped. So I'm scared to go alone. But I do want to go back to Disneyland. And I might have to find a friend to go with me just so I can. They don't have to do anything. They can go do whatever the hell they want. I just might want to get in the park and just people watch, have an ice cream cone or something like that. All right,
pants.
This. So when I get okay, Steve,
defend yourself.
I'm not defending myself. This is the thing. When you all hear me on this show get upset about an article of clothing and I sit here and say, do not wear them, it is because I have. I've said it from experience. Polo shirts, burn them. Get rid of them. They make you look 15 years older than you are. Get rid of them. They make you look like a white guy going to soccer practice to pick up your kid because the judge said you could. Don't wear them. Cargo pants, cargo shorts, don't wear them. Unless you're on a SWAT team. I know I loved the pockets. I loved the pocket options. Don't wear them. Jeans with sandals. Do not fucking do that. What are you? Some sort of reprobate on the outside of society? Cover your toes. No one wants to see your goddamn toes, guys. No one wants to see it. Why, Steve? Why do I say that? Because I did it for years. And I look back and I realize my mistakes.
Well, I'm glad you have the self-awareness. I have nice feet. I can pull off sandals and jeans, but I won't anyway.
Don't. I don't. Especially white men. We have no style, and we lean into it. And God damn it, if any one of my blathering listeners who are men, if I see you at one of my shows, and you have some kind of shirt tucked into your pants and you're not wearing a suit jacket, I'm going to drop kick you and stone cold stunner you. What are you doing tucking your shirts in? Dear God, we're not going to church.
I went to a baby shower this last weekend, Ken, and my dad was there.
Okay.
And we showed up. I was wearing the same shoes as my dad, Ken.
Steve.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Detective McCarcel go. Michael, thank you for the question. What's the worst pair of clothing items that you still own and wear?
Ooh, still, to the chagrin of my fiance, probably just the flip flops.
God damn you.
But I don't wear them with jeans. I wear them around my workplace because I wear gym shorts, and I just because I work in a rock climbing gym, so I don't.
Okay,
take the climbing shoes off. So I wear them.
All right, you're good.
I don't wear them.
No judgment on that.
I don't wear socks with flip flops. I'm not. I'm not one of those people.
Okay, that's okay. We'll allow that. Thank you, Detective McCarthy.
I also called them flip flops, and she insisted they're called slides.
No, they're flip flops.
That drives her insane.
They're flip flops.
It's
yeah. Or as a kid from the 70s, they're called thongs.
Thongs, hell yeah.
We don't call them that.
We're not thongs. That's the between the toe ones. Mine's the over the foot ones.
Flip flops. All right, toe shoes forever, says Tully Quinn. All right, thank you, Detective McCarcel. Oh, don't even get me started on Crocs. God damn Crocs. Oh my God, Crocs. Style knows no weather conditions or comfort, people.
Yeah.
Steve, the other day I went to the beach. Now, I don't mind putting on a swim trunks and going barefoot and playing in the sand, but it wasn't planned. My folks and I were out driving, and we stopped by Shell Beach, which is cliffs, and you walk down the beach. I had Converse, black jeans, and a black shirt, and a pink beanie on. All right? It didn't look completely in place, but, Steve, I had my dignity.
I'm glad you had your dignity. That's what. So Converse. Hold on, I'm putting this together in my head. Converse, black jeans, black shirt, and a beanie. What was it like? What was the temperature outside? That's my first question.
Oh, 72.
Okay, all right.
My
all right,
hometown.
All right. Just making sure it wasn't like. I'm just making sure it wasn't like 90 degrees outside, and you're being a total weirdo.
No. Oh, no. But and again, it wasn't planned. If it was planned, different thing. Ranger Donald says this. I have Disney Crocs. Burn them. You all can make better fashion decisions, especially as white men. Now, Addie says this. I love my sandals. Thank goodness I'm a woman excluded from this. I won't go. I won't. There's no way I'll touch a woman's fashion. I'm not that dumb. I have thoughts and opinions.
Careful.
I also get it, right? I get it. I have been in a 4.5, a 5-year, and an 8-year relationship. I see the sweatpants and the no makeup, and then I see the red carpet stuff and whatever. Here's the thing: women are just inherently more stylish than men, and I hate to go into tropes and gender roles, but Steve, that's just the case. All right. And you, as someone who showed up to a party with your father's shoes on,
yep,
maybe need to face some things.
Yeah, no, I've been with my wife for 15 years, Ken. That ship sailed so long ago. She's stuck with me forever. We're good, man.
You're good.
It's okay.
You're good. You're good. All right. The reason okay. 898 for M is right. Straight dudes, you mean? Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
Look. I got to tell you something. One of the greatest moments of my life.
Night or
I showed up somewhere, and one of my friends, Steve, I'm just going to run right out this. If you want to jump off and not run into any problematic content, I understand. But one of my friends, who was a young black man, said, "Dude, those shoes look great." It was the greatest moment in my life. Greatest moment in my life. Okay? And if Calvin were here, he'd understand. Okay? I had, as a middle-aged white man, the way I was dressed and the shoe choice I made a young black man go, "Oh, yeah, you look cool."
Nice.
That's all I needed.
I'm happy for you.
I'm running off that for 5 years now.
I bet. What? So it was the shoes specifically. So what? Tell me. Like, what were they?
Simple. I wear a black shirt, black jeans, and I had like some white kind of Converse All Stars on. It's just and a beanie, and I was presenting a good, comfortable, confident look, and I got the approval. Okay, I got the approval.
That's it, folks. You said the key word there, Ken, and it's confidence. It's confidence. You can be wearing a paper bag. You do it with confidence. You can look good.
There you go. We got a battle between Converse and Vans by Ranger Donald. He's fighting with himself over this. Tully says this: my greatest triumph was ditching the slick back hair look and ponytail. Unfortunately, I have to do the slick back hair a little bit. That's all I got left. I miss my ponytail. I'd wear it like Steve. If I had long hair, I'd do that. Ponytail, not so much. All right. Alec is back in. Let's see if we got this here. He says, StreamYard doing some weird stuff. Alec, you're on the show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Ken. First time, long time.
First time, long time, Steve. You see this? We're getting a lot of first time, long timers, and it's the greatest thing.
They're learning, Ken. They're learning.
Alec, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you listening for a long time. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, no problem, man. Been around a real long time compared to some of the people I've been finding out recently.
Oh, you're an old timer.
Yeah, we're going on a decade now. You know, not a little humble brag, but I've been around.
You were listening to me, Alec, when I had cargo pants.
That is a tragedy, and the sooner we move on from that, we should be better for it, I think.
God bless you. God bless you. What's on your mind?
All the sports talk today, with particularly the Pacers situation. I was going to ask you, because I'm a journalist. Stories are at the heart of sports for me. I can't enjoy sports properly without something to hang on to, whether it's a moment or a person. And I have one of the most improbable ones that I've ever seen from, I think it was now 2 weeks ago, But I just wanted to ask you and pose the question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a moment in sports, just a singular storyline, whether it's a player or a team doing something improbable that you really latch onto, that stands out to you in your memory? I have one if you need me to.
No, I mean, as someone who watched the Kirk Gibson home run, live in a house, not at the stadium, that one, that is one that's going to stay with me forever. Just everything about that. It was storybook, like they said. As a Yankee fan, I'm going to answer the Yankees, and everyone can get mad at me, but I'm going to go to the Yankees in 1996. And it was truly a story of a franchise that had been on the outs, a franchise that had been ruled by a tyrant, but also that tyrant drove to them success. So it was a weird relationship with it. He was back, but he was older. He was different. And they had a manager, Joe Torre, who was a Hall of Fame caliber player, a manager with success, but had been cast off. He was an announcer. He was that guy. His brother, Frank, was getting a heart transplant in the hospital during the playoffs. And you had a bunch of Yankee players who had not yet become the Yankees that were winning every day. And I get it. I get the scorn for the Yankees later on. But I think the 96 team, the story was Joe Torre. The story was that kind of the punch the clock in, go to work guy who had never experienced success, finally gets to the World Series and finally wins against a very dominant Atlanta team that we should not have defeated. And it wasn't the superstars that got us there. It was Joe Girardi. It was a recovering, rebounding Darryl Strawberry. It was a overweight and cast-off Cecil Fielder. It was those kind of players. It was Jimmy Key with his arm being held together. It wasn't the free agents we'd pick up later. And then it was Joe Torre crying in the dugout with everyone hugging him as his brother lay in a hospital bed and they win. That 96 team means the world to me because of the stories, not just because of the pinstripes.
Incredible. That's exactly what I've been trying to encapsulate. I'm writing a story that's kind of about these moments, these kind of special pinpoint moments in sports that just bring everybody together. Because to me, I'm not really a man of faith. I gave that up a long time ago. Sports are something that really holds me together in that same way, though.
Interesting, yeah.
And in relation to that, I am formerly a part owner of AFC Wimbledon, a fourth-tier English soccer team.
Wow.
They are fan-owned, sort of like the Packers, but it's a lot more accessible. Pretty much anybody, if you've got, I think it's like $50 or something, you can pay for a year to be included as a member of the Dons Trust, which is the board that owns the team. Nice. And so I've fallen in love with this team. The story reached me in an improbable way already. Their team was stolen from them in 2001, which doesn't happen in English football. We don't have franchises over there. They are like community-owned teams. A businessman came in, said, "Fuck you guys. I'm taking the team to Milton Keynes." He thought the fans would follow him. It didn't. Their story together is just incredible all the way up until now, but it got a lot sweeter a couple weeks ago. There's a guy named Sam Hutchinson who started with Chelsea, the big Premier League side, when he was 17 years old. Has battled through a lot. They call it the old war horse. It's a name that he accidentally gave himself in an interview just after the moment that I'm about to move on to. But a guy who said just battled through a lot in his career. But we were battling for the playoffs because over there you have to move up through the tier system. It's a whole thing. We're in League Two, trying to go to League One. We were in a good spot. The season collapsed on us. Just everything went wrong that could go wrong. The last game of the season, we're trying to lock it in and secure this playoff push. We play a team, Grimsby Town. Sam Hutchinson hasn't scored at this point in 3 years. He's down in League Two. He's just playing for the love of the game. He's no longer a guy who can play in the Premier League. He's just a man clocking in, lunch pail guy.
Yeah.
Hasn't scored in 3 years. And before the game, he starts feeling some chest pain. And he was like, well, that's kind of weird. But whatever, I'll power through. 6th minute, he really starts clutching at his chest a little bit, but still fights on, doesn't say anything to anybody on the field. Turns out he had a heart attack on the field. Went on to play 94 minutes of football after it happened. And not only did he play those 94 minutes, just out of the half, puts away the goal that secures our playoff chances. First time in 3 years that he scored. Everyone goes insane. No one even knows that there's a medical emergency happening actively in his body. He sticks around, plays the whole game, does the post-game interview, celebrates in the locker room, gets on the team bus, and is like, "Oh, hey, coach, I think I'm feeling kind of weird. We should probably stop by the hospital."
Wow.
And
Wow.
2 weeks later, we find out that they said it was a heart-related something, like an episode of some kind. No one really knew what the truth was. And then just 2 days ago, he does an interview saying, "Yep, full heart attack, had a surgery, feel like I could play right now, but for the for the immediate future, I'll be sitting out and on the road to recovery."
And how many movies have we got pitched on this story? How we getting this story to the world?
It's funny that you should mention that, because I'm here in an unofficial capacity to anyone that's interested. We have a documentary series on the AFC Wimbledon YouTube channel called Fan Owned Football.
Wow.
The episode that will be centered around this this part of the story won't be out for a few weeks, but there are 2 episodes that are up now, and you can watch them, get caught up on the season. It is truly some of the most satisfying, just brain busting storytelling, and you couldn't write it out, any better than this.
Well, I love this, and drop a link in chat. And when you have that story that you're working on to finish too, and when this other big episode drops, please let's bring you back and chat about it and make people aware of it. A lot of people are with you. A lot of people know the story in our chat and are happy you're discussing this. Steve, you want more football talk in Discord? This kind of football talk.
Both football and football. Give me all of it. The Discord's popping with all of it, but I haven't seen a lot of soccer talk. So let's bring it. I love it.
Let's do it. Do it. All right.
I'm a fairly recent convert, but I'm happy to fill the role. However, I need to bring whatever I can.
This is great. I absolutely love this. Alec, thanks for calling. Thanks for supporting all these years, my friend. I really appreciate you hanging out here with us.
No problem. You guys have a great night.
There you go. Alec, Steve, a sports journalist, a journalist. I love that stuff.
A real journalist. I feel honored.
I'm going to try to see if I can get him on the show for a segment. A friend of mine, June Lee, I mentioned this stuff before. He was on ESPN. He got cut from ESPN, and they gave him like a long non-compete clause. June Lee just launched his YouTube channel. It's some of the best sports reporting out there now. He is, I believe, the future of sports reporting, along with folks like Alec bringing these journalistic takes to the sports. Please, friends, check out June Lee if you're a sports fan, but also if you're just a fan of just good, I'll say that C word, content. June Lee, check it out. I'm going to try to get June on here. Big Star Wars fan, too. See if we got one more call, and then I think we're going to call it a night. I went 2 hours tonight. All right, it's not quite your 3 hours, but that's all right.
Show. I hope I'm not wearing off on you too much. I don't. Yeah.
We don't know. We had a lot on the mind with great calls. Great JOT segment, great side segment, great. I yelled at you about Crocs. You don't even own Crocs. I was yelling at you.
I don't own Crocs, and you were yelling at me. What the hell was that all about? And what's JOT, Ken?
Did I say JOT? GOT. What do you want? What do you want from me?
Damn it, Ken. You're just supposed to be like JOT. What? Just come on.
You want me to yes and you? You want me to yes and you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm
okay.
Just playing
all
notes,
right. Let's do our final call tonight. Our buddy Sean checking in here from New York, a city I want to get back to, but I also want to get out to the island. I want to get out to Queens. I want to go to All American Burger and get a cheeseburger. I want to hang out with my buddy John Mariano. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
All good, Ken. How you making out?
I haven't made out. That's the problem. I could use a makeout. What are you doing tonight? You want to come by?
That's why I'm asking, man. Come on. Come on.
You've been talking about Grinder too. Jesus.
Come on. Let's make some mistakes near our car after we leave a bar, Sean. Let's do it. Let's smooch.
Nah, it's been a good week, man. The Andor stuff has been great.
All right, Andor, let's do it, Sean.
I'm running through it. Andor, we've got the Earth is melting. We've got
yes.
My damn Knicks last night. I'm getting out to it. Hold on.
All right, no. Hold on. I want to know, as a Knicks fan, as a Knickerbocker booster, Sean, did you see it coming? Did you feel it coming? As sports fans, if the Yankees are going to blow that World Series against the Dodgers, I knew almost from first pitch, we don't got this. Miami Dolphin games. Oh, we're up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Oh, I in my gut, I know we're going to lose. Did you have that feeling, or was this a complete shock?
I walked out of the room twice, and both times they came back in.
See? I appreciate that. All right,
it
Sean.
was a mess.
I stopped your flow, but what is it, man? Take us home, man. You're doing great. Home run of a call.
Here's a good question for you, man. It's Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been anybody in your family that served, or anybody in your life that has served, other than maybe Roka?
You're talking about people in my life, though. Yes, my dad was in the Navy. His brother, my Uncle Nick, was in the Navy. They were in the Navy during NAM, so they were there, but in the Navy was a different experience, to be clear. My dad spent most of his time on Guam. My other uncle, my mom's side, was in NAM. I've heard horrible stories I won't go into, so I knew from an early age the horrors of what was going on over there. So he served. And then grandpa's World War II's, that kind of thing. I worked with the Purple Heart winner. Then my grandfather, I've said, served from a different point of view, part of the Circassian army, the Russian army, the Red Army, captured and press ganged into the Nazi army and fought for the Nazis for 2 years at gunpoint, basically, until he fled during a battle and was captured by the Allies and eventually made his way to America after Stalin refused to let those who were forced to fight against them return to the country. So yeah, surrounded by it, as well as some good friends and other other people in my life who were in. And I gotta be honest, like I didn't, and that was because of radio. I'd started my radio career early, but there was a thought of the Navy. There was thought of continuing that tradition, but just life didn't take me that direction. You know what I mean? This was the mid-'90s where it was a little different time where I don't believe in the term peacetime because there's always things going on. But you know what I mean? It was a little bit of the heady days of the 90s.
Nah, you're absolutely right. For me, I never understood Memorial Day until I actually served.
Right. Yep.
And
yep.
For everybody else, yeah, you're going to get your hot dogs and your hamburgers, and it's going to be great, and God love you. And all the other stuff that's going on tonight, it's been an amazing night.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and different, Somebody fought their ass off to make sure we could act like idiots all here on the social media. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think we do our soldiers wrong in a lot of ways, and we do them right in a lot of other ways. But like I've been watching this Nam doc again, the Turning Point one, and that's the big takeaway. There's a lot of horrific things you can talk about, a lot of horrific things you can point at, but we sent people over places, and other people signed up for this, and there, but for the grace of God, go we. I believe that, and I believe that you can still look at those that went over and those that gave down their life, and even though, like you said, good, bad, or indifferent, or the bigger complex issues of the world and the war machine and this and that, or Jesse the Body Ventura talking about his things, which I agree with some of the stuff he says. The people, we're talking about people in sports tonight, Sean, the humans that go over. I was in DC 2 years ago now, and I went on a stroll, right? I hit the Washington Monument, hit the Lincoln Monument, did all the things. On the way back from the Lincoln Monument, you kind of come around to the Vietnam Memorial. And on that day, it wasn't just a wall with names that I had access to. There was an event going on. There was some Vietnam veterans. It was a group, and they were there to lay wreaths down. Sean, I watched respectfully from a distance on a bench for a little bit, bawling my eyes out on the faces and the names and those connected to the names on that wall who are nameless to faceless to me, but are everything to them. It was very moving. It reminded me of the core issue of Memorial Day. So I really agree with you there, buddy.
If there's one name I ask you guys to remember this week, it's going to be Ryan Walker, a good man himself, passed away January 6th of 2005. I think about him every year now, and it means a lot more to me than hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad that you got this going on, and I'm glad I could provide a little bit of sweat and tears to help make it happen.
Absolutely. And to you and Ryan Walker, we are absolutely thankful, Sean. And I can't wait to see you next time in New York City and have one of those hot dogs and give you that hug. And thank you myself. Sean, do you still have it in you to at least give us a forget about it?
Get out of here. Of course I can give you a forget about it.
There.
Forget about it.
There you go. Steve, we got it. We got it. I'm going to turn that into a drop. I got to get a drop from it.
We got it.
Thank you, Sean. Much love to you, buddy. Okay, pass my love on to your brother, too.
All the best, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Love you.
All right, there you go. Absolutely good stuff there from our boy Sean on a Memorial Day weekend. We'll be up Saturday night, and I will be up Monday for Memorial Day. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I got it forced in on Tuesday. We'll figure that out, but definitely Saturday. Steve, you're out Saturday because you got a life.
Out Saturday. No producer Steve on Saturday.
But we're going to do an hour of calls, everybody, so get your calls ready. Great stuff tonight. A lot of fun with you all here. Hold on. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to say goodnight, Steve?
I mean, I got nothing, man. I'm here.
You got nothing to do.
I got nothing.
Oh, I can't do this without the music. Okay. All right. I see it. Okay. All right. I got to figure this out. Where is that? There we go.
There it is. There it is.
The end card will shut everything down. All right. I edited something very special tonight for the end card, and I realized it would shut down the audio. I'll fix that later. You guys, we'll see you next time. You know what we do here. Bye.